Mhm. 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 Yeah, it is. Mhm. Okay. All right. Yeah, sure. Yes, that's correct. I mean, I think it's all the diversity of the work. Um, I think it has to do with diversity in projects, diversity in teams. Um, I see consulting as kind of the same environment as uni. Um, that's basically because I think when you're in uni, you're kind of in a bubble with like-minded people that are only 5% of the population, kind of in that educational space, and that is sometimes really good, but sometimes it doesn't. You don't look at the broader picture and the broader scope of the whole community. But basically, being in that bubble is constantly challenging yourself. And I think that's also something that is completely similar to consulting. You're with like minded people, have kind of the same educational background, really diverse background, of course, but the same level. So that constantly challenges yourself in order to, get the most out of you and keep on learning. Um, so diversity in combination with, being basically challenged every single day, that's kind of what I was looking for and what I definitely also received as well. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, sure. I'm taking. Let me take the project of last year. It was a 10-month project, working for a pharmaceutical firm, a really large pharmaceutical firm, and they experienced a cyber attack. So this pharmaceutical firm basically, got in contact with us and they asked us, what do we need to do in order to become, more prepared to these cyber attacks? So my role was a day-to-day project manager. I was in charge of four other consultants, two of them of EY and two of the client. So it was a pretty large team, and we went from factory to factory. So we had in the 10 months we went to seven different factories. I was being in charge of basically that group of consultants, and I think first of all what challenged me was I had a manufacturing background. I worked in Heineken, but still, pharmaceuticals was not my thing um, at first. So it started with the industry, completely different industry. Then secondly, there was a topic that I was not very aware of. I knew what cyber was, but how can I relate that to manufacturing? So that was the second thing. The third thing is I moved into a manager position, which was not new to me to guide and coach my team, but it was new to me to be in that kind of that formal position. I think fourthly, um, I developed together with my senior manager a methodology that really worked. but it was not. It was my first time doing that in that specific way. The full methodology, the full 100%, I did parts of it. So I did all of the single elements already, in other projects, but all together, I didn't do that before. And I think lastly, and that was also something major, I was not dealing with, middle management, but I was dealing with the plant manager and the entire management team. So I had to show them my knowledge. I had to build up that relationship and that social connection within a really short time frame. So all of those elements together, lead it to that learning experience, and also a bit of stress as well, to be honest. Um, if I think you have two different answers for me now. That has to do with, if I was being asked this question a couple of years back, I would say, I'm aiming for industry, and I think it's really important to do something that's completely in line with your field of study. But at this moment, if you ask me that question right now, then I would say you need to have a personal connection with the team, because if you don't have a personal connection with your team that you're going to work within your consulting firm, then it's not going to work. So I think, at least when you have some kind of interest in the topic that that team is focusing on. So for me, supply chain operations, the operations part is really interesting for me. Then it's more so, that you have a personal connection with the company, but more so with the people that are working in that team. Because, for example, McKinsey is doing exactly the same as we're doing within the supply chain operations team at EY. So it's not that I'm choosing them for a specific field of work. I'm choosing them because of the culture. Hmm. Hmm. So, um, I, yeah, so it can be that you're inviting people because they're referrals. You know that person already, so then you're inviting that person to the office and for some coffee meetings. I think, you know coffee meetings really, tries to find out if that personal connection is existing. If I'm in an interview, though, and that's a lot of the times the case, so it's not a lot of the times that I'm meeting candidates before I'm actually in the interview. If I'm in the interview, then it has to do with a couple of things. I'm always measuring if I'm always measuring a candidate at different elements. I think the first element is, are you fun to work with? So, would I like you to be my team? Because I have that personal connection. And that personal connection, I basically, are you a social person, right? So, if you, if I ask you a question, then, do you only answer that question, or do you entertain me? Do you make a story out of it? I'm not only there because I need to interview you. I'm there to be entertained. I want to hear your story, and I want to have that connection. I think that's one of the really important things. Um, if I look at other elements, if I look at a candidate, then I'm always asking myself, um, can I take you directly to the client? And that is basically based on, do you have expertise? Can you make a social connection with the client? Can you directly add value? That's really important. Then, apart from that, is, do I want you in my team? Um, and that's basically, because I think you're a hard worker. I think you're a smart worker. Um, from what I can experience, either you try to get the result, no matter what. I think those are really important points. Then I think there's also a point is, do I see you to be part of the team? The wider supply chain operations team. I think all of those elements are quite important when I consider a candidate. Mhm. Okay. So do I then need to take the option of like 4 years back, when, or 5, 6 years back, when I was looking for a position, or? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. 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 No, that's fine. That's fine. And what do you like? What do you want me specifically to elaborate? Just the considerations of what I would do, or? Okay. So okay. So then I think it really starts with the position itself. Um, if I now look at, for example, recruiters that contact me via LinkedIn, they need to have a really appealing offer in a job role. So I think a job role is really important. The company is really important. Um, I would say I'm constantly also asking headhunters, like, okay, can I build my own team? Because that's also something that I feel is really important at the moment, because that's um, and I think job offers at this moment, I'm more so focused on, um, yeah, maybe positions without like outside of consulting. I'm not saying that I'm also, yeah. So most of the positions right now are outside of consulting, that stop by, and that sometimes I look at for like 5 minutes. Um, yeah, because you never know what comes across you. Um, no, 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 no. I'm also really open to my colleagues, to be honest, about these things, um, because they also get so many different offers. But I think it has to be. So my considerations would be to have a position, a senior position within either factory or startup, or it is quite diverse, to be honest. Um, but I have to combine my different kind of skill sets in them. So it's not only the qualitative side, but also the quantitative data side. Um, that's really a consideration. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Production, but also I think more in the services field. So, because production is really, I think it's really really static. You make something, and I think I'm driven by a knowledge-driven environment which is strengthened by data, and that's most necessarily. focus on service organization. So service organization could be, Booking.com or like an airliner or something like that. And in these kind of environments, people tend to be higher educated, and therefore, you need to challenge yourself more in order to mobilize those people. And I think that's even more appealing than running a factory, to be honest. Mm, you mean different elements of it, or? Yeah, I think I think building my own team in a senior position is most important in a service environment where within that team I have the capabilities in order to analyze data in a very efficient and effective way. I think those elements are quite important because otherwise I would already kind of skip it. Yeah, yeah. I I don't think so. If I would go to a different consulting firm, because that's the question, right? Moving to a different consulting firm, then I would more so focus on the function level. So I'm at this moment a senior consultant, and there's a high possibility that I move to a manager position. Um, and if I don't get that opportunity within my current company, then I would either move to a different consulting firm and say that I want that manager position, and otherwise I move out of consulting. But that's more so driven by a function level. Hmm. Um, mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, the reason is quite simple. I've been working at manager level for the past year, and in consulting, you get basically judged on your financials. So how much percent are you utilized at the client? How much sales have you done? And all those kind of things. And you're being judged on non-financials. And non-financials is your evaluation by your peers, but also your manager, and all those kind of things. So those are the two axes, right? Um, I think if I look at my financials, then I'm almost. If I look at all my peers, all my senior consultants within EY Netherlands, then I'm at the first or second position. So I've performed really well last year. And then the non-financials are also really well. So everything is there to be promoted to manager. And if I don't get that opportunity, then I need to work, second year at the level of manager, not being paid for it, but money is of secondary importance. It's also kind of the um, being valued, right? And being valued also comes with a job title. If you perform the work, then you also need to get your job title. So if I don't get it, I'm going to make a point out of it, and I'm going to say, it's not worth it for me then. So that's why it is so black and white at this moment. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Um, I think building my own team. Um, yeah. Yeah, I think it goes hand in hand a bit. Building your own team also comes with seniority. So if I say that one, that's a bit contradicting. What were the other ones that you were mentioning? Mm. Yeah, I think that, yeah. Mm. I mean, the type of industry is still quite relevant because within consulting, you also kind of focus on specific industries or no industry. So I think the industry is of less importance to me. Also within consulting, I mean, it's it's more that you're kind of flexible enough to adjust to all different types of industries. So I don't specifically care about one. Hmm. I expect full commitment, um, on-time delivery of of their part of the project, but also full dedication. Um, I think those elements at this moment are sometimes missing in some people, and this is also something that I'm really struggling with because you need to motivate your team, and therefore you need to use all of the different kind of personal commitment that you can get because it's yes, it's hard work, but in the end it will pay off. Yeah, sure. um, so if you're a graduate, right, then you come out of school, and my expectations when I came out of uni was just like, okay, you know I know something, right? I'm not a complete fool. So but still, if you're a graduate, then you come into consulting. You kind of start from scratch. So at the beginning of when you're going to work, you need to learn all of the consulting skills, which is not bad, but you need to have a mindset. So I think it's a mindset where you want to learn continuously. You're also, listening to other people in the team, also more senior people. Respect the hierarchy, because you don't want to bother the partner with just minor things which will take a lot of his or her time. So all those kind of elements are quite important. Full dedication is that you're there to support your team. You're not only there to get full and easy instructions and then say, okay, I need to do this and this and this, but you're also there to think outside of the box. Take the initiative and basically do the work and deliver for 120% of the quality. I expect good leadership and coaching. I expect time from them in order to get that coaching, because coaching is required in order to for me to be a better manager and a better coach towards my team. Um, and if they don't have that time available, then you know um, you're basically not growing and you're not learning. Sure. Yep. Um, Let me give the example of the pharmaceutical project as well, to stay on the same topic. Um, I work with my senior manager, currently partner, for 10 months, and in the beginning of the project, it was more intense because I was working together with him in order to set this project up, to basically build that client relationship and all those kind of things. And what he did in the beginning is, we went to the first factory, and he was there for 2 days. So he was basically there, walking the talk and talking the walk, or how you're actually expressing that one. Um, but he was there. He was guiding me, and he was giving that coaching, and he was also being really direct. And Dutch people, as you might know, are extremely direct. Um, and he was basically coaching me on how to become a better manager, a better consultant as well. And the second factory, he wasn't there. He was only there for a few phone calls. For the third factory, he was not there completely, which was fine because due to this rolled coaching support, um, I could basically take it on. But because he was there and guiding me, I was also growing as a consultant and growing as a day-to-day manager. Yeah. Hmm. Um, so I think leadership must be there, right? So I think good leadership has to do with setting out a dot on the horizon, creating that strategy, showing how the organization is being formed, showing what kind of governance you have, being there in order to, support your team in specific questions. I mean, in consulting, it always has to do with um, bonus, overtime, you know, different HR topics, talent evaluations, and all those kind of things. I think a good leader is there and takes responsibility, knows how the entire organization works, but can also really express why, for example, I'm not given a raise, but my peer is getting a raise. And I think good coaching has to do with a coach that is there in order to show you how to develop on your less developed skills and strengthen your strengths, basically. Um, I yeah, I expect um, that's a really broad question. Um, what are my expectations? My expectations is that I'm I'm being provided with the opportunities, the projects, the team in order to show that I can get the best value out of myself by working together with excellent people, by showing clients the real value of EY. I think that's basically giving me the opportunities in order to do this. I think that's the most important in general that I'm expecting. What I'm always offering, full dedication. Always there in order not only to work but also to make fun with my colleagues, my friends. Um, and I think that's something, full dedication on projects, being social, always being positive. I think that's really important. Although sometimes it's hard, but being positive really helps, and gets the energy level up really high. Um, but also, being kind of a brand ambassador. So, for example, me and Koen being at Rotterdam to provide guest lectures, or inviting TU Delft students and host them and do workshops. um, I think that's really important for myself, not only to spread kind of my knowledge to other people, but also show my employer that I'm willing to do more than only which is on my function profile, because I don't even know if I've got a function profile, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Hmm. Hmm. I think it has to do with yeah, maybe just myself. I think if I look at my colleagues, then obviously not all of them are friends to me. Uh, there were I think there was a couple of years back, there was a one colleague at a different firm that I work with, and she said, I need to be friends with everyone. And I was just like, no, um, I can't be friends with everyone. So, if I look at the kind of the friends that I have at work, I can count them at like one hand, so less than five. Um, and that is fine. That's fine by me. And I also see those people as you know as real friends, and I also meet them outside of work. Um, that's kind of yeah, that's kind of elaborating on that specific topic. Um, because if you have that social connection, then you can always go hand in hand through one door really easily, and you can speak and think like one another. Hmm. 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 Yeah, taking responsibility. So if you're going to say that that you're going to deliver a specific, I don't know, presentation or whatever, at a certain time, and if it's not there, then that's not commitment. If you're saying one thing, then you need to deliver, or you need to communicate in a timely manner to me, or that I'm communicating to somebody else. I'm not going to get it because of this reason. Um, Communication is really important, dedication, and making sure that you deliver what you actually promised. And also, when you deliver something, that it needs to look perfect. And it's not that I'm looking for perfection, but it needs to look really neat. It needs to be something that I can directly take to the client and say, this is what we're going to do. Hmm. Yeah. um, Kind of similar job positions, or hmm. Yeah. Okay. So I think, yeah, I think it has to do with the with benefits. Um, so that's one thing, because if there, if I get two vacancies or two headhunters that basically approach me for a position, then first things that I'm comparing, what are these positions? Okay, they're similar. They're in different companies. Okay, what is the difference then? Looking at benefits. Okay, there's a difference. And then after that, after looking at benefits, also looking at possibilities. Secondary benefits, building a team, the growth career path that is potentially there. I think those things are quite important. Hmm. 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 I think you can take the example of not getting a promotion. Yeah, if, for example, a lot of people leave and there are, less people in order to grow the team. If um, you're not on a project for a year or so, which is almost impossible, but that might be a possibility that I also consider to leave. Yeah. Um, I think um I think the number of hours that I work, the the travel, which is also fun, but at a certain moment in time, I think you also get fed up with it. Um, and I think also looking at my hours, I think on average 55 or so, 60, which is not bad. But I think at a certain moment in time, working will become, less important, and other things become more important. Mm. So, working for that pharmaceutical firm, I was traveling to the US to all the seven different factories. They were mostly abroad. There was only one factory in the Netherlands. So I was traveling quite a lot. And like in the summer of last year, I first traveled to the US. Then I had a short holiday of a couple of days. And then I traveled directly from New York to Munich, um, then being there for another 2 weeks, and then traveling back to the Netherlands. So I was gone for like a month and a half, um, which was pretty long, but not the normal case. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, sure. Hmm. Yeah. All right. Hmm. So I'm now working 2 years at EY and 3 years at Bearing Point. So I would say 5 years. Yeah. Yeah. No, 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 no. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, a manager has between 6 and 8 years of experience. Um, so yeah, maybe it's a bit fast, but yeah, it all has to do with kind of performance, right? So, mhm. Hmm. Hmm. It's a difficult question because I think a lot of the times, a number of years of experience are also being considered. Um, but I would say performance is more important. If I look at my senior manager, then let me see, is 33, and he is now associate partner. If I look at his career path, then it's it's kind of similar to the one that I'm having at the moment. But like, so he became manager when he was 28, so that's the same thing. Then he became senior manager when he was 30, and no, maybe 31. I would say 31. So manager at 29, senior manager at 31, and now associate partner at 33. If you look at his total, number of years of experience, I would say it's 10 years maximum. Um, maybe even 8 or so, or 9. And associate partners mostly get that position when they have like 15 years, maybe 18 years of experience. So yeah, yeah. So I wouldn't say number of years of experience is more important, but yeah, it's one of the elements that also comes across. But performance is yeah, it's more important. Hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. I think the industry is changing. So from traditional consulting industry to more newer type of consultant. So I think that also changes the way that people progress in a certain function. Um, but I've seen more cases doing the same thing, but it's not that it's a standard thing or so. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, are you there? Oh, I couldn't hear you. Hmm. 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 Okay. Hmm. 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 True. Mm, 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 mm. Sure. Yeah. Mm, mm. No, I think I think it has to do with the possibilities that we want to provide people in order not to leave. If you don't provide them with the opportunities, then they would change boats and they would look for other opportunities. So you need to be competitive. You need to give them the opportunities, but also the way that they can grow as well. Great. Sure. Yeah, sure, no worries. And you need to download Flashback Express 5 recorder. But I'll add that to the email as well. And then you can take a look at the recordings and listen to them. No worries. Mhm. Cool. Cool. Where are you located? Are you located in Lisbon or somewhere else? Ah, great. Okay, I'll definitely keep that in mind. Perfect. All right, great. So good luck with this, and I'll be happy to speak to you later on.